Hello, I am a woman who became a parent this year after 9 years of marriage. It is not an exaggeration to say that my life is divided into before and after my marriage. That's how much I'm living a happy married life that is the envy of others. This is because I got married into a so-called wealthy family. However, the reason I'm happy isn't because my in-laws are rich. If I say this, some people might say that I am faking it, but no matter what anyone says, I am happy because I have my family. Do you know the movie Pretty Woman? In the movie, the main female character is a poor woman who is loved by a rich man. At least it would be funny to compare, but except for that woman's job, it is a similar case with my husband and me. Just like the main female character in the movie, I couldn't find anyone better than my handsome and capable husband. My family was running a small Chinese restaurant in my hometown. Besides, I graduated from an unknown third-rate college, while my husband is from a prestigious family who studied in England and has a master's degree from Cambridge University. The gap between us is very huge. However, my husband and his family welcomed me into their family without any prejudice. Even when I think about it now, I am very grateful to them. On the other hand, my family looked at my husband with all kinds of self-serving thinking, and when I introduced my husband to my family, each of them responded selfishly with an ulterior motive. I want to tell you about my amazing yet a bittersweet story. I was an ugly duckling to my parents. Growing up, I've heard a lot of people say that I'm kind, but I've never heard that I'm smart. But that was because of my sister, who is 3 years older than me, always ranked first in her studies as well as being pretty. Thus, she was the class president, and if there was a popularity contest, she never missed being chosen by the whole school. So, I was naturally compared to my older sister, both at home and outside, and I was gradually treated less favorably. Outside, I was gradually treated less favorably. My parents always were proud and boasted because of my older sister, while they looked at me unhappily because I was not good at anything. I had to live with their sermon, telling me to be like my older sister, even by a quarter of her. Since I was treated like that since I was young, strangely, I didn't have any interest in studying, and the more my parents said something to me as they were very concerned about me, the more I rebelled, asking how everyone in the world could be like my older sister, who studied so well. But my parents thought, since they didn't have much materially, having high grades was a road to success, and success was the road to becoming rich. Thus, they always looked to my older sister as the main pillar to uplift our family into the next level. Because of that, my sister was so conceited 365 days. She didn't treat me as her younger sister, but a servant who had to serve her. That despite having outstanding grades and a pretty appearance, my sister's personality was not that great. My sister sneered at anyone who was not getting good grades or was less pretty than my sister, saying if she's not only ugly but can't study well, then she deserves to suffer unfairly. That wasn't her only attitude. She thought that if she had a good job and good looks, she could behave unethically, and that should be acceptable. Watching her, I felt she was in jeopardy to her demise. After my sister entered the university she had aimed for, she thought her life was already half successful, and she became reckless to the point that it was pitiful to watch how badly she treated the men who chased after her. I wondered why those men were acting like fools to cling to my sister, even though they were treated so badly by her. Then I thought that it was because of men like them that my sister began thinking that it was okay to live like that. Of course, my sister would not listen to any advice I gave, who was much less than herself. Then Barcayo. Hey, mind your own business. Who are you to give any advice? Do you think that you can be compared to someone like me? You are so pathetic, who couldn't even go to a prestigious university, but a dump out in the boondock. I knew what she would say to me. My SAT scores were poor, so I just went to a third-tier unknown college. My parents said it was no use to study more when they saw my SAT scores, and told me to go to any college that would accept me. I couldn't believe my mom's next words. You have to at least get a college diploma, so you can say that you have graduated from a college so that you could get married. At least, you shouldn't be a stumbling block against your sister. I wondered how my mom could say something like that to her own daughter. Rather than going to any college because of my poor grades, I hated the situation of having to go to college for fear of becoming an obstacle to my sister. But at the same time, I wanted to get out of this dreadful house. That's how I went to a 4-year university far from home. But in fact, that was the most comfortable and enjoyable time in my life. My friends came from all over the country, and maybe it was because they were in similar circumstances that everyone was pure-hearted and took care of me a lot, saying how lonely I must be, living just away from my family. I like my friends more than my own family. That's how I finished my 4 years of college. I came back home to the city, and my sister landed a job in the public relations of a department store affiliated with a conglomerate, and she again made our parents proud, so they could boast around Atino at Sakam. But I was also given homework to find a job. I don't expect you to go into a big company like your sister, but just get a job where it won't be embarrassing to say where you're working, even if it is temporary work. How would others know whether it is a temporary job or not? Even if you work as a janitor, be a janitor of a reputable company.
But honey, that word is a bit harsh.
Even if it's an unknown university, why should Beth work as a janitor, cleaning the building? It's just a figure of speech. There's no middle ground. One is raised too well, but the other is lacking so much. So I feel frustrated. That's why. But I was the more frustrated one, because I went to an unknown university to get a job at a well-known company, which was difficult. My parents didn't seem to care about that reality. Besides, actually, I'm a little embarrassed to say this, but I still didn't have any specific goal of what I wanted to become. If there was something I wanted to do, I would have clung to what I was aiming for, no matter how much I was scolded. At home, I was compared to my older sister and received negative feedback, so I didn't know what I could do well. After that, I had to work part-time and prepare for a job that I had no interest in. Then I got a call from my older sister. Exceptions, unlike the other sisters, we didn't keep in touch with each other. I was startled by the word "saces" popping up on my cell phone. What's going on? I was worried and felt a lot of tension as I answered her call.
Hey, it's me, Beth Jones. Our department store has a sales season from next month. Us, we're looking for part-time salespeople. And work. You have plenty of time anyway.
No. Why do you suddenly say something like this? I also have a part-time job right now. It's just a part-time job anyway. To be honest, the part-time job at our department store pays a higher wage than the part-time job you do. If you're trying to make money, you have to do something with a higher wage. And what's with your job loyalty when you won't even get any promotion? Don't talk nonsense and go to work at our department store the day after tomorrow in the morning. Still, how could you just tell me to work there suddenly without even asking me? Hey, it's a good opportunity. You've always worked part-time jobs at hole-in-the-wall stores. Have you ever worked for a big company like this? As your sister, I'm thinking of you. Who knows, if you look good here, maybe you might even get a permanent sales clerk position. What? A sales clerk? I can't do that. What are you talking about? How can you talk about what's good and bad in your current situation? Is that right? Is that Linda's department store? Why is it her department store? You go there and be sure not to disgrace your sister's face. Which do your job well, but your sister thought of you and arranged it on purpose. You can't even get a job, so how fortunate is it that you still have a capable older sister to be proud of? I do not like it, and no matter how good the position is, shouldn't she have asked me in advance before arranging it? I already have a part-time job at the convenience store, but this is all of a sudden. I'm the only one in trouble. What can a convenience store compare to a department store? And you don't want to be in trouble yet. Is it okay to put your sister in trouble? Of course, I hate being in trouble more than Linda is in trouble. Mom or Dad, you only care about Linda, but I don't care. You fool, then why didn't you become as good as your sister? Then would I act like that? Never mind, and if you want to continue to live in this house, you better do as your sister says. If you think that stupid convenience store is more important for you, you go there. You will be kicked out of this house on that very day. Why can't you discern what is and what is not important? Oh my lord, you don't even know you're blocking your own future. I had no choice but to go to the convenience store that day and beg to let me quit. And thankfully, a friend who was preparing for a job like me decided to do the job for me instead. I had such a hard time in the middle to arrange that at the convenience store. At the last minute, it was to the point where my energy got drained. But when I came home after taking care of that, my sister was bragging openly to her dad and mom, saying that she had gone to great lengths to put me there. Really, if she weren't my sister, I wanted to grab hold of her hair, and I promised myself again and again that someday I would flatten that big part of hers. I found out that really, one would never know what happens in the future. Well, I could hardly believe myself that my first sales job was very suitable for me. I had already received the training on the products, so that was easy. But dealing with people wasn't as difficult as I thought, and in fact, it was a lot of fun. But what luck I had, because the customers that I served would all purchase every product that I recommended to them. Some of the customers said, "Oh, the young lady explains well and is very kind." Most originally, I was just going to take a look, but I can't help but buy it. Customers would buy more things as time passed, and my sales performance improved. So an unexpected offer came in. "BM's Beth Jones, you did a fantastic job. Even after the sale period ends, how about doing a part-time job in our store?" "Really? I'm very grateful. I will work hard." It was only a part-time job, not a permanent position. But it felt like I was recognized by someone for the first time. It felt good, like flying. And I told my parents about the news that evening. But I got an unexpected response. "It serves you right. This is all because your sister worked hard behind you." Why would they say that to you? No, it's not because of Linda. It's because I did so well in doing sales. You're so ignorant. That kind of department store isn't like some cheap stores in a flea market or something. They wouldn't suggest that just because you are doing a good job to do the sales. Just thank your sister when she comes home later. Linda doesn't show it, but it's proof that she's looking after you because you're her sister. "Dad, you really?" It was then. My sister came back home after her date, and I felt very frustrated. So I asked her in front of my parents if she talked to the store owner to extend my part-time job there. Well, that little fox must have noticed what was going on and smiled. She said that and went into her room, and my parents nodded with an expression that they were right. I felt so frustrated. I felt like my sister just took the award that I worked so hard to get. But for me too, this time was a little different. I set a goal that in the future I would work even harder, so I would be recognized for my efforts without a doubt. I worked even harder than during the sales period, and I became quite friendly with the store employees, so I wondered if everyone knew my sister. So I sneakily asked. The response that came back together was as I had expected. How do we know people like that? This and the words are probably public relations, but after all, they're the same as selling department store products. Why? Do you know anyone in the PR department? No, I just heard that. It's not true. And since you're still young, I'd like to tell you in advance that don't take any favors here. Prevents. Everyone is smiling in front, but they don't think anything but stabbing a competitor in the back from behind. Appears here, it's just that the person who sells things well is the best. Got it. Hearing that sound made me feel so great inside. Someday, when there was a chance, I wish my parents could hear this too. And I started to think that I wanted to do this seriously. Then one day, an amazing thing happened. I was working in the luxury brand handbag store on the first floor, and an old lady, who had shabby clothes on, even at first glance, was walking around in the department store. She was wearing baggy pants, and she must be working somewhere, as she even had an apron on. And although you shouldn't judge anyone by her outfit, That old lady stood out like a sore thumb, and she was looking around for a while as if she was going to buy something repeatedly, but didn't really anything. Someone openly complained loudly about her as she left the store.
No, just looking at her, I don't think she was in a position to buy anything here. And, what are security people doing to let someone like that run around here? She is obstructing our business.
As in an instant, the old lady's face turned red as if it was about to explode, but I thought this wasn't right. But I wasn't an employee and just a temporary worker, so if I came forward, it would be more awkward.
Hello, miss. I'm sorry, but where's the restroom?
Oh, the restroom. I will guide you.
Just let her know the directions. We're busy too.
I had just started working, but for the first time I didn't listen to the staff and led the old lady to the restroom. How that old lady broke into a cool sweat. Sweat was dripping down her neck.
Thank you, miss.
I'm also working at a market near here. It's near B. I was embarrassed because it was my first time to receive such treatment.
Oh, you must have come in the middle of doing your business.
Yes, my outfits are a bit like that.
My grandson's birthday is the day after tomorrow, so I wanted to buy him a present for him, and I got such treatment.
I see. May I ask what you're going to buy for your grandson for a gift? If I can help, I will.
I'm really sorry, but if you do this, won't I put you in an awkward position too?
Department store is a place where goods are sold like a market. I am a seller and you're a buyer, so feel free to ask.
Is it so? A young lady has such a good personality. Can you point me to a store that sells this trademark? The old lady showed me a picture of a wallet that her grandson carries every day. She then said she wanted to go to the same brand store as that one.
The wallet in the picture was an expensive one. Ma'am, this wallet is a luxury item. Oh, is this something I've only heard about? My grandson loves their product here, so I came to buy a bag to carry when he goes to work. But no matter how much I went around to find this brand, I didn't see any similar brands. So I looked through the store in that store. Then I heard something like that. Maybe, can you tell me where the store is that sells this product? I'm sorry I seem to be taking up too much of your time. There is no one I can ask for except you. I was worried that the old lady had come to know the price of the products in the store, but I couldn't say that things there must be very expensive, as it would be rude to say that. I just told her and offered to take her there. That was my first time to go to that store, and in front of the store a person who looked like a manager was standing in front of the store and blocked the old lady from going in. Of course, it was because of how she was dressed. What is it? Which store do you work at that you bring someone like her to the store? We have other customers in the store, so hurry up and take her away. But this customer said she is going to buy your brand. Grandma, show me the photo. Never mind. That would cause harm to our customers, so before I call the security, hurry up and take her with you. But aren't you being too rude to the customer who has come to buy your product? Look, do you think her store is the same level as yours? Our job includes customer relations. I cannot accept anything that would cause complaints from our clients. If our customers complain, are you going to take the blame? Are you going to take responsibility for that? After in an instant, it became noisy in front of the store over such a minor matter, and the old lady and I both became bewildered. And then, my sister was making rounds at the luxury brand stores, and she happened to see the scene. At that moment, I thought my sister was my savior, but she had never once given me any help, and that day, she just left, ignoring me altogether. Eventually, the grandma said that she couldn't put up with the shame that she was put into, and she took out her mobile phone and called someone. But to that wee minutes, someone who looked like the wife of an executive, even at one glance, rushed over. She asked, "Mother, what happened?" "Look, I came here to buy Jonathan's birthday gift, and this is no joke. They're judging me by my appearance only and telling me to leave, so I'm almost dying because I'm so angry." "What? Mother, just a minute. Who did such a rude thing to you?" Right then, one of the store's employees recognized the old lady's daughter-in-law and ran out looking so shocked. And the manager also looked very startled. It turned out that the old lady's daughter-in-law happened to be the store's VVIP customer. If you had let us know in advance, we wouldn't have acted this way. Is it the manager, who shouted at me, threatening to call the security guards, didn't know what to do and repeated his apologies to the old lady. And the old lady ended up buying the bag that she said she was going to buy. Then she told me to choose one handbag for myself, but I declined politely. I said goodbye to the VIP customer and her mother-in-law and came back to my store. And the manager, who didn't know what happened, started to scold me for coming late. Right then, the VVIP customer and her mother-in-law came into our store. "Look, don't scold that lady. She was very kind to assist my mother, and I wanted to somehow repay her. So please pack all those handbags on the top row for me." "What? All of them there?" "I only saw it on TV where a rich woman said, 'From here to there, wrap it up for me.' But I heard it for the first time in my life, like this, for real." Of course, our store was not that famous luxury brand store, but still, it was a once-in-a-lifetime experience for someone so young like me. However, those were so many, so they asked me to go together to the parking lot. Then my manager, who was scolding me, smiled cheerfully and told me to go ahead to help them. I followed them to the parking lot and saw the grandson that the old lady told me about, who rushed over to his grandma and comforted her so sweetly, and I was quite impressed. "Jonathan, come here, take the mom. What did you buy so much this time again? If we receive help, we should pay back. And Miss Jones, again, thank you so much for helping." My mom is not the type to call me like that, so I was startled. "If it's okay with you, I would like to pay you back somehow. It's okay whether I take you out for a meal or anything." "Thank you, but it's really okay." I did nothing but guide her to the store she was looking for. "So, I cannot receive any compensation for something like that." "You're so right. Still, I don't want to just let it pass." "Right. If you just let it go, I would feel bad." thanks to you, I was able to be calm despite all that commotion, and I found my grandson's bag to buy it. Grandma, I told you I was okay, and when did you take the photo of it? You fool, I wanted to buy it personally for my dear grandson. You don't even know how I feel. Oh, Grandma, it's because I feel bad. That's why. That's right, Mother. X now stopped working at that store in the markets. How terrible that this has happened to you. You don't know how fun it is to run the store. Why are you telling me to stop? You don't know how many people I meet while I do sales. If I get stuck in the house, I would be bored to death. Mother, you say that, but other people criticize me. Who would criticize my dear daughter-in-law? There is no other one that's so kind and devoted to me like you. Oh, miss, I'm very grateful for your help. So why don't you come then to our grandson's birthday party and let's eat together? You're so kind to invite me, but it's a family affair. So it is really okay. I think you should spend it with your family. I'm glad that you were able to buy the gift you wanted to get for your grandson, and thank you for buying so many of our products from our store. That's enough. You all look wonderful, so warm and caring. That's right, Grandma. She must feel awkward. Miss Jones, thank you for today. I got an unforgettable gift from my grandma. But when the grandson also politely thanked me, I didn't know, but somehow my heart started to beat fast. I couldn't help it, as the grandson looked like a movie star or something. So tall and handsome, I went back to the store after hearing repeated thanks from them. Then my slimy little fox sister heard that the old lady happened to be the family of a VIP of the VIP of the department store and came right over to see me. Then she outright asked, "Didn't those people tell you that they would give you something because they were grateful for your help?" Well, they said this and that, but I said it was okay. What? You are such a fool. Fool, why did you kick the luck that rolled into you? Do you think that kind of chance will come by that easily? But then you even said that you didn't want to work here. And I practically forced you to work here. Why is it that whatever you do, you're like that? I came to see what you got out of those people, but you were so pathetic. And silly people, my sister got upset that I didn't get anything in return to her work. Even though she's my blood-related sister, I thought she was the one who was so pathetic and wondered how she would live in this world with that kind of disgusting attitude. The next day, something unexpected happened to me. First of all, that luxury brand store director came personally to see me to ask if I would like to work at their store. To him, I was flustered, but it was an offer to hire me as a permanent employee and not as a temporary worker. So I said I would, but I later found out that the VVIP customer had made a formal complaint against the department store. After that incident, I got to meet up with the old lady with her grandson who became regular customers of the store. To pay for my help, they offered to become our regular customers, and the VVIP customer returned after hearing that I started to work there and bought many things. Because of that, I became famous in the store. Then one time, the grandson came back and gave me a box of chocolates, telling me to eat it when I get tired. and I felt strange. But I just thought that it was a casual gesture, so I told him that I would only accept it this one time. Then I didn't know what was so funny, but the grandson started to laugh out loud. I was confused as to why he was laughing, so I politely asked him why he was laughing, and I got to hear something very unexpected.
I was very worried that you might refuse this present as well. My grandma and my mom tried to give you something so badly but failed, right?
Oh, that's because those were too expensive things they were trying to give to me, but this is something to eat. Oh, so you will accept it if it's something to eat.
No, I'm just taking it because you bought it and brought it here. But next time, I won't accept it. Do you know what? You're the most polite person I have ever met among all the people I have met so far. Oh, that's because those were too expensive things they were trying to give to me. But this is something to eat.
You're the most polite person I have ever met among all the people I have met so far.
So I like you, Beth.
I beg your pardon. At that moment, it seemed that the world had come to a stop. It sounded to me as if he was confessing that he liked me. However, I woke up, telling myself why in the world a handsome son of a wealthy family would take an interest in me just because I was a polite person. But he directly said, "By any chance, could you eat dinner with me after work?" When he said that, I thought my heart would burst, and I was so bewildered that I couldn't even answer him. He just said that he would come to pick me up when I finished working without waiting for my answer. He paid for her things and left with his shopping bag. Not only in the store, but in the whole department store, I became even more famous. I thought my slimy fox sister would rush over me after hearing that. But for some reason, she didn't ask me anything despite all kinds of rumors about me and the VVIB family were going around in the department store. But even at home, all she said was, "Just be careful how you act." Just be careful how you act. She just said that, but in retrospect, I think my jealous sister didn't think that Jonathan approached me with serious thoughts. She wasn't affected because she thought that he was just playing around with me. However, after eating out a few times with Jonathan, I found out that he was a medical doctor, and his family were beyond our reach compared to our family, which was a great burden to me, and I was so many times that he was just an average Joe as I started to fall for him so much. After about 2 months, he confessed to me that he liked me, but because he was too much for me, I couldn't answer him. He took that as my refusal. After that, an unexpected thing occurred. Jonathan's grandma came, dressed so well, and she asked me to go out for a cup of coffee. Jonathan's mother also was with her, and 2 of them came as if they were fully prepared to say something serious to me. "I know you're busy, so I will just ask you directly. My son has confessed to you that he liked you. Is that right?" In my mind, I wondered if it was like the scene in the drama where the mother of a wealthy family gets furious at the poor girl for seducing her wealthy son. I sat there so frozen with tension, but what I heard next to this day was a comedy. To me, my grandson is great, but is he not to your liking? Not only that, doesn't he come to your store as if he's coming to his work practically every day? Mother, it's definitely true. He's never bought me a handbag before, but he even bought that. Then I said, oh, I selected that one for him because he told me that it's your birthday. My birthday? It's not even my birthday for a long time yet. See? This is for real. Our Jonathan has never acted like this way. Mother, Miss, I mean Beth. I don't know how I would sound, but I like you, Beth. Even though there are a lot of great people around us, there's no good person. So I felt so frustrated, and my mother-in-law told me to just come and ask you. I'm sorry if you're very startled. After that, they just asked me to date Jonathan for a few times, as they believed that I would find him to be a good guy. Then Jonathan must have heard that his grandma and mom had come to the department store to meet with me, and he came over right away to apologize to me for that. My sister got to see us standing in front of the building together, and she suddenly put her arms around me as if we were close sisters and smiled brightly and greeted Jonathan. When I saw her like that, I was so flabbergasted because my sister was preparing for her wedding at that time. Hello, I am Beth's older sister, Linda. As I heard from people, you're very handsome. Thank you. I see Beth also has a beautiful sister. Aren't I? I hear that a lot. When I was young, I heard from people urging me to become a movie actress. Anyway, what have you two been talking about? If it's okay, why don't we have dinner together, the three of us? Linda, aren't you going to look at your newlywed house with your fiancé? Why are you here? If you're busy, go ahead and go. When we get a chance, Beth and I will make sure to take you out to dinner. Actually, I might get refused again tonight. When he said that, I wasn't sure whether he was joking, but he made me snicker. Reluctantly, my sister couldn't help but leave, and he and I sat in a cafe to talk. Only then did I start to see that he was sincere. We realized that we were both feeling the same thing with each other, and with his grandmothers and mothers urging us to date, we continued our dating for about a year. The more I got to know him, the more he was someone too good for me. Then in spring, I got proposed and I accepted his proposal to become his wife. The day I introduced him to my family, I suspected what kind of reaction my family will have, but it was so embarrassing. My sister bluntly said, "What? You're materialistic after all. How did you seduce such a great guy to get married? You didn't know that you must be grateful to me forever since I put you in your position, when you didn't want it at first. You as an older sister, what kind of talk is that to your younger sister? Dad, did you just get mad at me? Yes, you have been looking down on your sister all this time, but you're trying to ruin this happy mood, so how could I not say a word to you? Dad, are you siding with Beth just because she's marrying into a wealthy family?" "Linda, stop it," I cried out. "Hey, who are you to tell me to stop? You make me sick. Why? I'm getting divorced after just 1 year of marriage, but you're getting married into a nice family. So are you dying of happiness? Linda Jones, stop it. You have no eye for a good guy and you are getting divorced, so why blame it on an innocent person? You're pathetic." You're the fool who flipped over a guy just because he wore luxury brand clothes and drove a luxury foreign car who had nothing but that. Who was the one rushing into marriage insisting that he was a rich guy? That's why you and Beth are two different people. Jonathan, Beth is nothing special, but ever since she was young, she was honest and kind. From what I hear, your family highly values her kind personality, so please tell them that I appreciate it. Yes, my family told me to tell you we thank you for letting your wonderful daughter into our family. I also thank you for allowing me to marry Beth. I will do my best to make her happy forever. Your words are enough to make me feel so grateful to you. My mom even cried. Isn't it so funny? My parents, who used to only side with my sister, Linda, suddenly changed their attitude and started to care only for me by giving me the best of things. Then I realized how my sister must have felt to be treated specially. However, even though my parents were taking good care of me, I didn't feel very close to them. As my sister said, I knew too well the reason they changed their attitude toward me. After I got married, I hardly went to see my family. My parents seemed to be hurt, but I had been so abused and abandoned that it didn't bother me. They were nice to me superficially, wanting something back, so it was too hard to watch them act like that. Thus, I just spent as much time as I could with my in-laws, who respected and valued me as I was. I did my best to take care of them. After I returned from our honeymoon, I even got pregnant. My mother-in-law felt sorry that I had to quit my job, but it was my choice to quit. My in-laws were the kind of people who did not look down on other people just because they possessed a lot and said that people with much should share more, and they donated much and did a lot volunteer work as well. As I watched them, I felt strongly that I want to emulate them. I believe that is what's true education at home. As far as my husband is concerned, I just wonder if there's anyone greater than my husband. And took a leave of absence from his work for 2 years to help me raise our son. My grandmother-in-law used to always say that she wasn't born rich, so she never wanted to forget her origins. Sadly, she has passed away, but following the legacy set by her grandma and grandpa, my husband and I, as well as my son's generation, will never forget to share our possessions. As their family member, I want to continue that legacy set by them. To us society, if we live by those values, the world that our children have to live in might be a little brighter and warmer, wouldn't it? I pray that such days will come. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope you all will become wealthy too. Please cheer for me and write your comments of wisdom in the comment section. Pressing likes and subscribing is a big help to me. Take care.